Hi everybody, welcome to week 1 of Leadership with Lau. It's been kind of a long time since I've seen you, so I thought today would be a good day to just tell you a story. And here's my story for today. Once upon a time in Africa, there was a lovely elephant named George. And George was sitting under his favorite tree and he was just looking up at the sky. And he was saying, "Oh, the sky is just so beautiful." And then he looked over in this direction. "Oh wow, those clouds, they're just so fluffy and beautiful." And then he looked down at the ground. "The green grass is so beautifully beautiful." And he was just spending so much time under that tree looking at all the beautiful things around him. Now, George the elephant did appreciate beautiful things, but he wanted to do something with that thought. And so he sat under that tree thinking, what can I do with beautiful things? What can I do with beautiful things? And then he had an idea. It was the greatest idea he had ever had. And he thought, I am going to become a photographer. And then he stood up on his legs and he said, yes, I am going to become a photographer. And then he lifted up his trunk and he said, yes, I am going to become a photographer. And the first person he wanted to tell for sure was his best friend, Margaret the zebra. And so he started walking over to where he knew he would find Margaret the zebra, at the watering hole with all her friends. So he started walking over there. Bum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum. And when he got to Margaret the zebra, he said, Margaret, guess what? And she said, what? And he said, no, Margaret, guess what? And she said, what? And he said, no, Margaret, guess what? I have the best idea ever. And she said, what, George? And he said, Margaret, I am going to become a photographer. And she said, a photographer? George, they don't even make cameras for elephants. And besides, there's nothing beautiful around here to take pictures of. Now, as soon as Margaret said those words, you could tell George's whole face felt really sad. His face went down like this, and his trunk felt really sad, and his trunk slumped down like that, and his ears felt so sad, and his ears slumped down like that. Now, if you've never seen a sad elephant, it's the saddest thing you'll ever see. So George turned around, and he walked back to his tree. Ba-dum, 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 plop. Now he plopped himself under that tree and he started saying to himself, I guess I can't become a photographer. But I really want to be a photographer, but I guess I can't become a photographer. But I really want to be a photographer. And then he stood up on his legs and he said, yeah, I really want to be a photographer. And his voice echoed all across Africa. So at that moment, George decided he was going to become a photographer. But he really did have a problem. Margaret the zebra was right. They don't make cameras for elephants. So George realized he would have to make the camera all by himself. Well, no better time than the present, said George the elephant, and he started walking across Africa to find things that he could put together in order to make a camera. And so he walked 5 miles, ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. And then right on the ground in front of him was a big metal box. And he looked at that metal box and he thought to himself, yep, I can use that for my camera. And so he picked up that metal box with his trunk and he put it on his back. And then he started walking again. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. This time he went 7 miles. After he walked for 7 miles, he looked right on the ground in front of him, and sitting right there was the handlebars from a bicycle. Old handlebars. Not even the whole bicycle, just the handlebars. And he looked at it and he thought, yep, I could use that for my bicycle, for my camera. And so he picked it up with his trunk and he put it on his back and he started walking again. Now, George did this for days, walking all over Africa looking for parts for his camera. It didn't matter if it was really hot outside. It didn't matter if it was snowy or rainy, or if there were too many bugs outside, or even if there were lions. Nope. George just kept walking, finding all these different parts that he could build into a camera. finally, after 7 days, he had everything that he needed. And so he walked back to his favorite tree. Ba-dum, 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 plop. And he sat himself under that tree and he started making that camera. Now, I don't know if you've ever made a camera before, but making a camera, it's not an easy thing to do. So when George started building that camera, it took him a lot of focus and a lot of concentration. In fact, he had to be so focused that he was sweating. His whole elephant face was sweating. His elephant ears were sweating. His elephant tail was so sweaty. But he kept building that camera anyway. And after a long, long time, George's camera was done. And he was so excited. Now, you know as well as I do that elephants can't really hold cameras because they don't have hands. So George built a camera that would fit perfectly on top of his head. So he got his brand new camera, put it on his head, he strapped it around his chin, and the first place he wanted to go was to go visit Margaret the zebra. So he did. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. He was pretty much running over to where he knew he would find her, at the watering hole. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Hey, Margaret, Margaret. What? Said Margaret the zebra. Check it out, said George the elephant. So Margaret stopped drinking from the watering hole and looked right up at George. George, what is that on your head? It's my camera, said George. Margaret couldn't even say anything else. She was so shocked and so surprised. But a little giggle started forming in the corner of her mouth, and she started laughing a little bit, and her Margaret laugh. Said Margaret the zebra. Now, as soon as she started doing that, of course, all the other animals at the watering hole start looking over at George and laughing at him too. Especially the hyenas. Said the hyenas when they saw George's camera on top of his head. And even the rhinoceroses laughed the rhinoceroses when they saw that camera on top of his head. But you know what? Didn't bother George at all. He just started taking pictures. And the first picture he took was of one of the zebras. And he took a picture right when the zebra was laughing. Said the zebra, and George took a picture. Now, when he took a picture, it was one of those cameras where the picture comes out of the side of the camera. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those, but George pulled the picture right outside of the camera and he showed it to the zebra. And the zebra was in the middle of laughing when he showed her the picture, and the zebra's like, oh, that's actually a really good picture, said the zebra. So then George took a picture of the rhinoceros. And he showed that picture to the rhinoceros. That's a really good picture, said the rhinoceros. So pretty soon all the animals started gathering around. I want to see my picture. No, I want to see my picture. No, I want to see my picture. And in just a couple days, all the animals all over Africa had heard about this famous elephant named George, who took really amazing photographs. Happy ending for George the elephant, I would say. Now, I think the reason why George had a happy ending in that story is because he used something that you probably have inside of you too. Nope, not a trunk. Nope, not big floppy elephant ears. No, George used something called perseverance. It's a really long word. But perseverance is basically a word that means using your mind and your body to do something really great, even if it's really hard to do. That's exactly what George did. He used his mind to decide he was going to be a photographer. He used his mind to decide, yeah, I'm going to walk all over Africa until I find everything I need. He used his mind to tell himself, it doesn't matter if people are laughing at me, I'm going to do what I want to anyway. He used his body for the long walk across Africa. He also used his body to build the camera. So perseverance is a really good thing that can bring you some pretty good happy endings too. Say the word perseverance. Awesome. Try it one more time. Now say it like this. Perseverance! Okay, so your job this week is to use perseverance in something that you do at home. So sometimes it takes perseverance to throw the trash. Maybe it takes perseverance to wash the dishes. Maybe it takes perseverance to be kind to your little brother or sister. Your job this week is to do something with perseverance, right? And I'll see you soon. Bye.